Hola chicos, it's Miss Powell here. I'm going to go ahead and get started with reviewing some of these items from Unit 5. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. And we're going to take a look at tonight's live lesson numero 5. So here we are. So I do want to say and start with welcome. And I know that as we kind of come towards the end of the semester, we only have, as of today, 2 full weeks left. So this is live lesson numero 5. There will be one more live lesson next week, and then that will bring us to the following Tuesday, which is the end of this semester. So I want to remind you that review and redo is always there for you to go back and review and redo any missed assignments or any assignments that you want to do for a better grade. So I also have listed here the rest of the due dates for this course. So Unit 5 is due tomorrow, el 13 de julio. Unit 6 is due el 19 de julio. And then Unit 7 is going to be posted and have a due date of el 23 de julio, but that unit will not have any penalties on anyone's grade. So what this is going to do is, as of el 19 or the 19th of July, you will know basically what your final grade will be if you do not go back and complete any work. If you decide to move forward and through Unit 7, you can go ahead and do so, but you will always receive full credit for those items and those assignments, but you will not have any penalties against you or any zeros entered. The very last day of this course is, and let me go ahead and enter this, is el 27 or 20, let's see here. What day is that? Tuesday. I think it is the 27th. Let me just jump here. And we're gonna go 27th. Yes. So the very last day to work in the course is el 27 de julio. And that is where you'll find some more information about the final exam that will be coming up, along with other items around grades. So just some housekeeping items. So as I jump into the full agenda for tonight, we're going to be taking a look at Unit 5. Next week, we'll look at Unit 6. And then since there isn't going to be a live lesson with Unit 7, that is part of the reason why there won't be any penalties provided with that. So first off, this is all about la ropa, what you wear, what you bought, past tense. So this first assignment here is called ¿Qué llevas hoy? So as I jump into this assignment, I'm going to go ahead and look at our concept 1, ¿Qué llevas? Please keep in mind that when you click on that ¿Qué llevas or concept 1, all of the vocabulary for this section will be listed here. So the first assignment is just asking, ¿Qué llevas hoy? What are you wearing today? So you can take this question, and it's opening up here. Let me go ahead and X this out. So you can take this question and answer it with what you are wearing today. So I'm going to go ahead and just enter here, ¿Qué llevas hoy? What are you wearing today? And you can answer that and say, yo llevo un suéter blanca, suéter blanca y los zapatos de tenis. También llevo una camiseta negra y pantalones de jean. So there we go. So I'm wearing a white sweater with tennis shoes, not really. And then también llevo una camiseta negra, a black shirt with jeans, pantalones de jeans, or you can even just say los jeans. So this is for that task 1. So as I jump back to our agenda, the very next assignment is called ¿Qué lleva una persona famosa? So I've already started this one. So the assignment or instructions for this one are listed here. So it says you need to choose a famous person and describe the clothing that that person is wearing. from that picture, and then you are going to use 8 complete sentences in order to describe it. So I already started this one here, and I'm going to describe Shakira. So la persona famosa se llama Shakira. So there's one sentence saying what her name is. Ella lleva una sudadera con Mickey que es gris. So she's wearing a gray sweater with Mickey on it, or a sweater with Mickey that's gray. Ella lleva los pantalones negros con las botas negras. So she is wearing black pants with black boots as well. So there's 3. También Shakira lleva muchas joyas. And I'm using the verb lleva here for to wear. And then joya, she's wearing a lot of jewelry. I can then move on to say maybe things like ella no lleva un abrigo. She is not wearing a coat. So if you kind of run out of things to describe, you can add other items in there, but you just want to make sure that you're using some of these items around your vocabulary. So there's 4 or 5 sentences right there, and you could find someone to kind of continue on and describe that person. So now let me jump back into our concept 2. Next is called cuánto cuesta. How much does something cost? So here we're looking at, we're going to be taking a look at numbers and the verb costar. So what I'm going to do here, task 1, we're going to, let's go ahead, ¿qué llevas hoy? And then this is also going to be ¿qué es el número? So we're going to put this below here also. So with this, you're going to hear numbers on this task, okay? And once you hear those numbers, they're listed here, you're just going to write what they are in Spanish. So let's do a few of these together. So let's see here. It has popped up. Let me make sure it's turned up here, and here we go.
Number 1, 683.
Okay, so watch with this one. So number 1, 670. Oh, let's go ahead and listen to it again. I missed it here. And I'm going to start it over just because I want you to hear it after it's typed. Oops, what did I do? Let me pull it back. I see what I did here. Here we go.
Number 1, 683.
Okay,
Number
so
2.
you can see here, 683. So 683. So let's take a look at this next one.
Number 4,
Oh,
983. 983. Number 2, 300. Number 3, 589. Number 4, 923. Number 5, 256.
Okay, so that is what those are. So if you were to hear those, you would hear for number 1 again, 683. For number 3, it just says 300 or 300. For number 3, 589. Number 4, 923. And number 5, 256. So that is for your ¿qué es el número? Okay. Now, our next assignment is going to be taking a look at that verb cuesta or cuestan. So let me go ahead and open this up. Now, when you use cuesta or cuestan in referencing how much something costs, there is a little trick to this. So with cuesta y cuestan, and let's go ahead with the text box here. You are going to, it's the verb costar, to cost. If you were to use cuesta, the item that comes after it is going to be singular. If you're going to say how much something costs that is plural, you are going to use cuesta. Okay, so let's take a look at this practice together. Are you going to use cuesta for something that is singular or cuestan for something that is plural? So it says la chaqueta, one jacket. so cuesta. It is singular. Los calcetines. So you can see here, los calcetines is plural, so cuestan. Los pantalones. So we have the S's here, so we're going to use cuestan because the pants is a plural word. Los tenis. So our los here for the tennis shoes, we're going to use cuestan because it is plural. Now I'm going to jump here to los zapatos. So we have los zapatos with the blank. It is plural, so we use cuestan. But when you see la bufanda, singular, you'll use cuesta. So this first practice is looking at the difference between using cuesta for an item that is singular or cuestan for an item that is plural. So the next item moving into that is monedas diferentes. And this is looking at how to use various or how to compare various modes of money. So here you're going to pick 3 Hispanic countries and find the currency of the country that and then you are going to convert 100, 1,500, and then $5,000 into those currencies. So if I were to click here, this is a currency converter that you can check out. And once this comes up here, oh geez, let's go ahead and get rid of that. We're just gonna go and I'm gonna update that, but let me go ahead over here and you can say currency converter. And this is probably one of the easiest way to do it. And here you can see, don't use the euro, but you are going to use the US dollar. So you can look up a Hispanic country and then say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and convert it into that specific country. So let's see here. What is a place where we want to use? Okay, we'll use Uruguay. Okay, so the peso. So I'm going to start off with 100 US dollars. So there's the conversion. Then I'm going to start off with 1,500 and there's the conversion. Then the last one was 5,000 and there's the conversion. And you can just change it using this type of converter. And once you get those items, you can put it into a Google Doc or place it right into the Dropbox here. That is totally up to you. So the next concept is a new conjugation form for us, and it is the preterite tense. So this is a past or preterite tense saying things that you did in the past that are done and over with. So yesterday I went to the mall. The other day I went shopping. So if you were to look at these instructional materials first, and we look at our AR preterite tense endings, so there's a video here reviewing kind of what that is. This image here has your new preterite tense endings, okay, or past tense endings. So for your AR verbs, they're haste, o, amos, estáis, aram. So you are going to AR verb endings. So for this first assignment that comes up or that came up, you're going to use the AR verb endings, okay? Now, before we go to take a look at these conjugations, so you're just going to conjugate the verb that's in the middle. Let me go ahead and place this over here. And we'll begin with this. Now, as we go to do this, there are a few irregulars when looking at AR preterite tense verbs. And those irregulars are verbs that either end in car, gar, or zar. So there are a few examples here. We have buscar, pagar, jugar, tocar, and empezar. And these cargar zar verbs in the yo form change to que, ge, and se. So in the yo form, when you add an e to anything that ends in car, gar, or zar, this has to happen. It has to change to a que, ge, or se. So if we look at our verbs, the first one here, and I'm just going to change these, we see yo comprar los zapatos. So when you rewrite this whole sentence, I am actually just going to highlight it, place it here. I'm going to bold it. So I'm going to conjugate the verb comprar in the preterite tense. I'm going to take off the AR and add the appropriate ending. Yo compré los zapatos de Nike. I bought Nike shoes, past tense. So here we have an ellos y pagar. Now keep in mind, it's only a change when it's in the yo form. So ellos, I'm going to take off the AR and add the appropriate ending. Ellos pagaron con una tarjeta de crédito. So they paid with a credit card, past tense. Oops, I left this one here. Nosotros buscamos la ropa. So they looked for clothes. So I'm going to take off the AR and then add the appropriate ending here according to this. Nosotros buscamos la ropa. Okay, and we'll do one more here together. So you have yo jugar basketball anoche. Okay, so we have the verb jugar. I'm going to take these out. This is a gar that if I were to add the here, it sounds like jugué. So you need to have the appropriate ending. Yo jugué basketball anoche. I played basketball last night. Okay, so we're talking about preterite tense or things that you did in the past, and that's how you'll move forward with some of those other items. So as we move forward here, the next step is with ER-IR verbs. So let's jump into our instructional materials here. I'm going to add this and say ER-IR endings. So when we look at this here, you're going to move down. We have more about AR verbs. We did our assignment. Now you're going to move into the ER-IR preterite tense verbs. So there's 2 videos there. And here we go. Here are our endings. Iste, io, imos, istais, iaran. So let me grab these and we're going to place these in our ER-IR endings. But the other item that we're going to place here is there are a few irregulars when working with the ER-IR verbs, and they're all listed here. So here's some examples. Yo dormí, tú dormiste. Now look what happens in the él, ella, usted form. There's a spelling change. Dormió, dormimos, dormieran. Okay, so sometimes the O's change to U's or the E's change to I's, okay, in the él, ella, usted or the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. So I'm going to steal this here and put it with our notes over here. So let's go ahead and take a look at our assignment here. So with this here, you are going to start this practice now, and let's do some of these together. And we'll bring up our endings here. All right, so I'm thinking we can see both. So ustedes and repetir. So this is right away one of those irregulars in the él, ella, usted form. So here you're going to use, so we change the E to I, repetí, O, okay? And there's an accent over that O. So this one's really important that if you don't know how to do the accents, make sure you send that message in the inbox because I always take a look at them after. So la familia, this is the él, ella, usted form. Here we go with another irregular, dormió. Okay, so we have usted repitió, la familia dormió. So here we go to yo comí. So here's our E on the end. Yo abrí. Okay, so I opened. So tú corriste. Okay, you ran. So we're taking off the ER and adding our new endings. Ustedes asistieran. Okay, so here's our eran here. Now, los amigos, and here's one of the irregulars. So we're going to change that E to an IE. Los amigos sirvieran. And then one more, ellas in the verb vivir, vivieran. Okay, so you'll continue on with those items using the new preterite tense endings. So now this last assignment with the preterite tense is going to mix them up, put them together. Okay. So Here we go. So you're going to come up with 15 sentences in the preterite tense, and you can use any of these verbs here. You can use all of them if there's 15, or if there are others that you want to use, you can do that. You need to only use, you can use others, but these are just some examples. After writing those sentences, include a picture that goes along with it. So let's go ahead and grab this and do some examples together. So keep in mind, this is the preterite tense that we're going to be using, okay? And this is just called pretérito. So I'm just going to go along with the first one here. Number one, I'm going to say, yo hablé mucho durante la lección. So I talked a lot during the lesson. So here is our verb that is in the preterite tense, okay? So now let me go ahead and move on. I might say, los amigos cantaron la canción. Oops. What in the world did I do? Okay. Oh no, here we go. La canción ayer. So the friends sang the song yesterday. So cantaran because we're using the preterite tense. All right, let's move on and take a look at dibujar. So to draw, I might say, mi hija dibujó una pintura ayer. Okay, so she drew a picture or a painting yesterday. So we're using the preterite tense. So now I'm going to jump down to one of our ER-IR verbs. So let me jump to the verb here, comer. So I could say, nosotros comimos la pizza el sábado. So we ate pizza on Saturday. And I'll do one more here after, let's do an IR verb. We'll use compartir, to share. I might say, tú compartiste tus juguetes. So you shared your toys, okay? Tú compartiste. Here's our verb, and let me see what's happening. Okay, your toys. So here's our verb in the preterite tense. And then what I would do is just go out and pull some pictures in to represent some of those items. So now we're moving forward into concept 4, preferiste ese, este, or aquel. So I have some items here, and what we're looking into is called demonstrative adjectives, okay? Demonstrative adjectives and demonstrative pronouns. So before I even take a look at that item or that practice, let me go ahead and I want to look at these instructional materials with you. So demonstrative adjectives are things like, are saying the words this, that, or that one even farther away. Okay, so when you look at this video, it's going to describe how to use an object that is super close to you, this one right here, an object that is a little bit farther away, so that one, or an object that is even farther away, saying that one over there. So if you look at this image here, I have the ball, okay, a beach ball here. So here I am. The one closer here, I'm saying esta pelota, this ball right here. Then I'm saying esa pelota, that ball, okay? Then I'm saying the ball even farther away, aquella pelota, that one way over there. So esta, esa, y aquel, these are your demonstrative adjectives, okay? Now, I want to show that when we look at these items, okay, so here we're looking at este, ese, and aquel, okay, our demonstrative adjectives, they have to match just like up here, looking at items that are singular or plural, masculine, or feminine. So if you look at this chart right here, este cinturón, ese cinturón, aquel cinturón, okay? Cinturón is singular and it's masculine. When we have a word that's plural and masculine, pantalones, look what happens to este. estos pantalones. Look what happens to ese, esos pantalones. Look what happens to aquel, aquellos pantalones. And the same occurs with the words that are feminine, but they end in A's. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this little chart, okay? And I'm going to pull this into our image here because the very first assignment that we're looking at is just asking you to pick, are you using este, esta, ese, esa, esos, esas? What form are you going to pick depending on what it's talking about? Now, everything has to match. So once you start this, it depends on the word that comes after it. So that skirt over there. So over there, okay? So when you look at our image, and I'm sorry, I should have brought this up, okay? So we have this one, that one, and then that one even farther away. So that one over there. And we're looking at the word falda. So here we're going to use aquella. So look at it in this way, okay? Esta, esa, aquella, that one over there. Now, if we're looking at just that t-shirt, okay? So now we're looking at just that t-shirt. We're looking at this middle one here, okay? This one's close to me, that one's in the middle, then that one over there. So here we're going to use esa because it's referring to camiseta. Okay, so these dresses, okay, these dresses right here. So the plural of this is these. So we're looking at the word vestidos. So here we're going to use estos vestidos, these dresses. So those shoes over there, and we're looking at the word zapatos. So all the way over there here is the one farther away. We'll use aquellos zapatos. So one more, that sweater. So that sweater right here in the middle, we're going to be using ese here because it is a sweat there. So you'll continue on using those. Now our next one has you decide, and I'm just going to click on it here. This next one has you answering some questions. Do you prefer this book or that book? Okay, este libro or ese libro. So you are going to come up with 5 questions and 5 answers between those 2 items. So if I were to jump back here, let me just insert a text box and we'll do a few of these together. So I could say, and they're all going to start with our preferiste. Did you prefer? And we're going to start here with este abrigo o ese abrigo. So did you prefer this coat or that coat? So think about the one closer to you or that one. And I could just answer, yo preferí este. I preferred this one. Okay, so let me do another one here. And I'm going to actually take this and show you kind of what happens. If I wanted to change this to falda, okay, do you prefer this skirt? Now, since I changed it to falda, I have to change it to esta. Same down here, esa. And then I can answer it in the same way if I want to say I preferred this one, but I have to change this to esta because of the word falda. Now watch what happens here. Okay, so you need 5 that are like this. So now I'm going to take this and change it to zapatos. And if I were to, and look, see, it's already marking it wrong here. If I were to change that to zapatos, we have to change that to estos because we're looking at zapatos and change this one to esos, which means that when I say which ones I prefer, I either need to use estos or esos. Okay, so there are 3 examples of these types of questions using our demonstrative adjectives. I'm just going to highlight these to look at the difference between those words. So now we're moving forward with, we looked at the demonstrative adjectives and the demonstrative pronouns. Now we're looking at direct objects. So I have already put something in here, and this is taken from the course. So a direct object pronoun says what receives the action of the verb. Okay, so what receives the action of the verb, our very first assignment here in this concept 5 is an assignment that is asking you to find the direct object, find what receives the action of the verb, okay? So let's do this together. So what receives the action of the verb? So I'm going to put dot here. So when we look at these and you see, ella compró el vestido ayer. She bought a dress yesterday. Who or what did she buy? El vestido. So you're just highlighting the indirect or the direct object. Okay. Él lleva una corbata negra. So he bought a gray scarf or a black scarf yesterday, or tie. So who or what did he buy? A black tie. So you can do una corbata negra, and then nosotros buscamos los blue jeans. So we looked for those blue jeans. So who or what did we look for? Los blue jeans. And we'll do two more. ¿Tienes tú una chaqueta blanca? Do you have a white coat? Who or what do I have? A white coat. And then ellos compraron las joyas. They buy the jewelry. Who or what do they buy? Las joyas, the jewelry. So you'll continue on with those. Now, the next step with these direct objects is going to be replacing the direct object with a direct object pronoun. Now, it has to match with singular, plural, masculine, feminine with their lo, los, las, y la. So these words here are going to replace what we placed in bold. So our very next assignment, when you move on to using direct object pronouns, then requires you to take these same exact sentences, but replace it with a direct object pronoun. So we're going to take these. If I were to take number 1 and replace el vestido with a direct object pronoun, so it's el vestido, we're going to be using lo here, and it has to go in front of the conjugated verb. I'm going to say, ella lo compró ayer. So she bought it yesterday. Okay. So let's look at our next one. We're going to be changing una corbata. So instead of using lo, we're going to use la. Él la lleva. And that's it. She wore it. So here is our direct object pronoun. So here's one that's plural. Nosotros los buscamos. So we found them. Okay, so here is our direct object pronoun. Then we're going to have here, la tienes. Okay. Do you have it? And here is our direct object pronoun. And then the last one here, ellos las compraron. Okay, so they bought them. And the las is replacing las joyas with a direct object pronoun. So you'll move on in that manner. And then the very last step of this is placing them together, okay? So you're going to place, or we're going to look at indirect object pronouns. So an indirect object pronoun says to whom or for whom something is happening. So let's take a look at this assignment, and this is the last one that we'll look at tonight. And this assignment is forcing you to use what we're going to call double object pronouns. Now there are a few items over here, but we'll do 2 of these together. So let me go ahead and place this here and move it over so you can see. So the very first step in these sentences, so there's 3 steps in each of these. Okay, so it's saying she wrote a letter. How are you going to write that in Spanish? So I'm going to say ella, and we're using the verb escribir, okay, but escribió, okay, we're using past tense, una carta. Now we're adding something here. She wrote a letter to him. So when we look at our indirect object pronouns, here they are listed right here, to him. So I could say, I'm going to take this, and there's 2 ways you could do it. Ella escribió una carta a él, to him. okay? Or you can replace this and say, ella le escribió una carta. So you're taking this le, which is an indirect object pronoun, and replacing the el, the him. Now we're going a step further. She wrote it to him. Now watch what happens, okay? So we're going to say ella le, and we have to replace una carta. Now when we replace una carta, we are going to be replacing it with las, okay? So when you see ella le las escribió, check out this portion here in yellow. When you have le plus any one of these, lo, la, los, or las, it has to change to se. Just because saying ella le las doesn't make sense. So you're going to say ella se las escribió. So she wrote them, or I'm sorry, we're going to use la as a carta. La, she wrote it to him using all direct object pronouns. So let's try this again. You read a book. Tú leíste un libro. Okay, so here's our full sentence. You read a book. So now I'm going to say you read a book to me. So we're going to take the to me and we're going to use me here in the green. Tú me leíste un libro. So now we're going to say you read it to me. So we're going to replace un libro with the word lo. Okay, tú me lo leíste. You read it to me. So the rest of these go in steps, taking a look at how you are going to use double object pronouns. So that brings us to the end of our agenda. You can see there's your Unit 5 assessment, project, and so on. But this will help you kind of follow along, or if you need to go back to something, look at each of those items. So let me go ahead and stop this recording.